Cedar Park, Texas, live. It's Timberwolf Night in America. This is the Vype Live Network, and tonight more nonstop honking of the Cedar Park football horn. I'm the V of the T, voice of the Timberwolves, Brad Cohn. It's our 8th show of the season, 9th season of the show, the 115th show overall since we began doing this way back in 2012. We're live from Santa Catarina Mexican Restaurant on Cypress Creek Road, a few hundred yards west of Old 183. We'll be here until 9 o'clock, so come on over and join us. With me once again tonight, the king of Laces Out, the former wideout, a member of our 2010 district title team and regional finalist. He once taught a German shepherd how to bark in Spanish. Bear hugs are what he gives bears. Lifetime Timberwolf Josh Willard.
Oh, man, it feels so good to be here for Timberwolf Night America, getting my levels dialed in now. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But dadgum, feels good smacking Leander and getting right back on a winning streak. Dadgummit, it's Timberwolf football. So excited to be here, and we got the quarterbacks in the house tonight.
Yeah. And Mitchell Padgett is our quality assurance agent tonight, closely and diligently monitoring the broadcast from that super secret, high-tech, low-maintenance, ultra-modern, technically advanced, stealthily cloaked pinnacle of internet communications technology, the Vype Studios, making sure we don't sound like, well, Josh in a haunted house.
Whoa. Spooky.
With us tonight, the Cedar Park quarterbacks and their coach, Royce Rodriguez. We'll be chatting them up starting at about the top of the hour. This year's Booster Club sponsors Toyota of Cedar Park, H-E-B, Rudy's Barbecue, Mungia Real Estate, Army Ant Moving, our touchdown sponsor TJ Lewis Real Estate, Owlser's Barbecue, Wofford Bank, and Santa Catarina Mexican Restaurant. Here's what's on the menu for tonight's show. Josh with the state of the program, a review of the Leander game, then a look at other scores of interest, including other 11 5A teams. Going to look at a 2016 article I wrote on Spencer Drango that made it to the Dallas Morning News.
God, I saw that in the script you sent over, and it was chilling.
All right, good.
It was good.
We'll take a trip through the wonderful world of Willard. Then at the top of the hour, we'll bring on the quarterbacks. And I've got a rant tonight. Then we'll play a fun trivia game with the guys. And in closing, a preview of our next foe, the Pflugerville Panthers. And now here's Josh with our State of the Program update.
The all-time record for Cedar Park football is now 206-74. That's 132 games over 500. How you like them apples?
Highest we've ever been over 500, by the way.
Heyo. And they are 108-32 in district games. They're 97-28 at home all-time and 63-6 at the GUP. And I can tell you that none of my, playing days were responsible for any of those losses at the GUP. Just saying, best team ever. Best team ever to not win a state championship. Let's go ahead and put that in the mix.
They
Okay.
were better than the state champs that year. Beat 'em.
Drain the lake. Heyo. They lead the all-time series with Leander now 12 games to 4 and have won the last 10 dating back to 2007. That last year that we lost was my oldest brother's senior year, so that always feels good to have a Willard that you have a leg up over.
Yeah.
And the Timberwolves have now won 47 of their last 49 district games dating back to 2014.
47-2 in district since 2014.
Shysta.
It's pretty darn good.
Hendrickson is one of those?
Yeah, that's one of those two.
That's a stinky Hendrickson.
It's a stinky one. That's a number 2, all right. All right, a quick trivia question again out of the gate, Josh. All our trivia questions tonight are going to be quarterback related.
I love it.
It's quarterback night. You mentioned that Cedar Park has won 12 times against Leander. This is the most wins the program has over any opponent. How many Cedar Park quarterbacks have wins as a starter against Leander, and how many of them can you name?
Okay. Brian T. Hogan.
There's 1.
Nathan Thornhill.
2.
Oh, gosh. Ryder, Pell.
Yep.
Shout out, Pell. Thanks for being in the house tonight. Did Drew Russo? Drew Russo got him. He tight-roped it down the...
Is he one of your answers?
He's one of my answers.
Okay, 5.
Okay. Rupert Edwards, was he a quarterback or?
No, he was a running back.
Was it Corey Washington?
Yes.
He was the quarterback?
6.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, Nate Grimm. Who said that?
Yeah,
Shout out.
Good one.
Yeah, great one.
7.
Oh. Sexton.
8.
Did Amir?
Yes, that's
How many do I have to name?
There are 10. So
Okay,
there's one guy.
okay.
And he's the most obscure of them, so you may not get him
So before my time.
before your time.
I mean, it's the quarterback that's got all the records from before, the Chris Ross era. No?
Nope, he was kind of an
Michael
unremarkable-
Cochran.
No.
No.
This guy wasn't as good as Michael Cochran.
Oh.
Travis Watson.
Travis Watson. He was a receiver, too.
Yep, so 10
Ow,
guys.
That doesn't count.
Corey Washington.
That's Ryan Tannehill.
Corey Washington 2004, Travis Watson in 5, Russo in 8, Thornhill in 9, Hogan in 10 and 11, first Cedar Park quarterback with multiple wins over Leander, Nate Grimm in 12 and 13, Amir Alzer in 14, Sexton in 15, Ryder in 20, and Josh Pell in 21. So there we are.
That's outstanding.
All right, a review of the Leander game. It was the 16th meeting of these former arch rivals last Friday night at the Gup. Cedar Park with a nice performance, winning their second straight game, 37-14 over the Lions, who scored an honor touchdown late to keep the margin from being 37-7. It started a little shakily, though, as the Lions took the opening kickoff and marched 60 yards in 10 plays all the way down to the Cedar Park 17, where the Black Rain threw up a quality stop on fourth down in the red zone. Pell and company movers then took the ball and jammed it downfield 83 yards in just 7 plays for the game's first score. 10-yard pass from Pell to Cody Marshall with 4:46 left in the first. They got the look they wanted on the two-point try. Pell ran it over himself. 8-0 Timberwolves. Two sides exchanged 3 and out, punted at each other, and then Leander answered the touchdown with one of their own, going 86 yards in 7 plays, with Cameron Berkman hitting Aiden Salazar with a 22-yard pass for the score. They elected to kick their extra point, and the score was 8-7 with 10:39 left before halftime. Timberwolves answered immediately with a 75-yard drive and 8 plays. Cody Marshall running it over from the 6. Raylon Barr kicked the point, and it was 15-7 Cedar Park, 8:26 left in the half. Leander came right back, starting from their own 36 after a short kickoff. The Lions rumbled 63 yards in 10 plays, seeming to score from the 2-yard line when the ball popped out at the 1 and Cedar Park fell on it. Luckily, the referees thought they recovered it in the end zone and gave us a touchback, moving the ball out to the 20 instead of having it at the 1. But it was another 3 and out, and a punt set the Lions up at our 48-yard line. In 8 plays, Leander moved it down to the 8, but time ran out on the half. It was 15-7 at halftime, and Leander had solid control of all the stats. 4 of their 5 first-half possessions moved the ball well, but in small bits compared to the Timberwolves, whose drives were fast and loaded with explosive plays. Leander ran 35 plays in the first half, Cedar Park only 19. We only had the ball 4 times, 2 touchdown drives and 2 3-and-outs. Their solid running back, Alexander Franklin, just tore through Cedar Park tacklers, breaking about 20 in the first half. Nearly every yard he got was after contact. 4 times he was hit in the backfield and gained 7 or more yards anyway. He had 114 yards on 22 carries in that first half. This game was only close because of Franklin. In the second half, that problem was solved. The tackles in the backfield stopped being missed. Franklin's first 7 carries in the third quarter went for a total of -1 yard. In the entire second half, he carried 11 times for 11 yards and was never again a factor in this game. And Pell and company kept up the lightning-quick touchdown marches. The first one right out of the gate after the second half kickoff, it went 75 yards in just 4 plays. Tyree Nicholson running it in from the 7, little more than a minute into the half. Barr's kick was good. It was 22-7 with 10:54 left in the third. Leander's first second half possession went only 17 yards before the Black Rain stopped them on fourth down at the Cedar Park 47. After a 12-yard run by Kevin Adams on first down, Adams got the call again and sliced for 41 more all the way to the end zone. This time, Pell ran it over for another 2-point conversion, and Cedar Park was in complete command of the game at 30-7 with 8:49 left in the third. On the subsequent Leander possession, the Black Rain took 10 yards from them, throwing the Lions backwards from their own 18 to their own 8, where they punted. Cedar Park took over from the Leander 47, and 9 plays later, Nicholson ran it in from the 4, and Barr's kick made it 37-7 with 4:23 left in the third. Cedar Park had logged 3 consecutive touchdown drives to open the second half, scoring 22 points in just 7 minutes and 37 seconds on the game clock. Another short kickoff started Leander out their own 33. They got 1 first down, but were then thrown backwards again and punted. At this point, all sorts of new numbers for the Cedar Park offense. I love it when everybody gets to play. Gavin Bernard quarterbacked an efficient 48-yard drive that lasted 8 plays, but a Lion interception ended it at the Leander 35. But the Black Rain threw up another 3-and-out at Leander, and the Lions punted again. However, Cedar Park muffed that punt, and Leander got the ball right back at the Cedar Park 40. The Black Rain was still in stingy mode, and it took 9 plays for the Lions to move the ball just 21 yards, where once again Cedar Park stopped them on 4th down. After a 3-and-out by the offense, Leander took over at their own 46, and on this drive would get that honor touchdown, shaving the 30-point margin a bit at the end with a short touchdown run with 42 seconds left in the game. Cedar Park took a knee, and that was it. A very nice performance in all categories for Cedar Park.
No, I thought it was a great performance offensively for Cedar Park. They were able to come out and just not get behind the unmentionable stat that this team has kind of fallen behind at the early part of the season. And so for us to start to construct our first winning streak, and especially starting with great tempo right out of the gate, that was extremely important. But the defense, I mean, they gave up long possessions to the Lions. I mean, that were established in the first half, and they were established on the ground. And I mean, some of those that, I mean, it felt like the University of Texas out there tackling. Like, it at the end of the day, we just need to wrap up and bring these guys to the ground, because that running back was as good as advertised. He was running through tackles, making very quick, dynamic moves right at the line of scrimmage just to find a way to get past the backers. And so it was a task for sure for the defense. They made great second half adjustments, and this offense just stayed consistent throughout the game. It was exciting to see Kevin Adams have an explosive game out of the back.
A career night for Kevin. Yeah.
A career night, but just very explosive out of the backfield, and then taking big plays down the field as well through the air. A very efficient night through the air with that. So just excited that to see the offensive production that we had, as well as the Black Rain's adjustments in the second half to really, soften the load per se. So that's exactly what you want when we control our own destiny, and we're trying to win this district championship and seed ourselves well for the playoff push. So it was a very important win. And rivalries, you can throw the records out, stats out, and you have to make plays. And Cedar Park showed up, made big plays against a very old school rival.
And how many times have we said, Josh, over the years that there's nobody better than Brent Britton at making halftime adjustments on defense? And look at that. We said that if we could control Franklin, they can't go anywhere. Well, they didn't in the first half, and they went everywhere. Second half, he went nowhere, and the offense got less than 100 yards total offense. Most of that on the last drive.
And what you were saying earlier in the season, when you watched Leander versus Vista Ridge on TV, they only threw the ball like 2 times in the second half. So they threw the ball 25 times in this game. So, I mean, they were trying to stretch the Black Rain as much as they could, because that was the only way that it was going to soften up that run game for them. They had to keep Cedar Park honest. But the Black Rain, the front 7, Big Murr.
All right, here are the stats for the game. First downs were even at 18. Rushing, Cedar Park 29 for 266. 9.17 yards per carry. Best night of the year. Leander 44 for 128. The vast majority of that in the first half for a 2.91 yard per carry average. Passing, Cedar Park together, the two quarterbacks went 8 for 15, 1 pick, 107 yards and a touchdown. Completion percentage of 53.33, 7.13 yards per attempt. Leander went 12 of 25, under 50% completions for 159 yards, 6.36 yards per attempt. Total offense 373 to 287. But remember, we were down to them at halftime by well over 100 yards.
Right.
So the second half really changed.
Still, the Leander touchdown, that one that he caught off of a tipped pass, one-handed. I mean, even though they lost, you live like a king when you make a play like that. I mean, this is in the world of social media. That stands forever.
Two good rushing nights for our main running backs. Kevin Adams, 9 carries for 147 yards, 16.3 yards per carry, includes a 41-yard touchdown. Tyree Nicholson, 6 carries, 72 yards, a 12-yard per carry average. He had 2 touchdowns, 7 and 4 yards. Cody Marshall, 3 for 13, also a 6-yard touchdown. Gavin Mundell had 7 carries for 30 yards, a 4.3 average. Bell didn't have to run much, only 5 yards on 3 carries. Pell through the air, 8 for 13 for 107, 61.54 completion percentage, 8.23 yards per attempt, and a 10-yard touchdown. Bernard 0 for 2 with a pick. Catching, Nick Gruyon, only 2 catches tonight, the other night, 45 yards, a 22.5-yard average. Adams, 1 for -1. Marshall, 5 for 63 yards and a 10-yard touchdown.
I'm sorry, I'm old school, Brad, but this was a stat line that I can go back to my playing days when we were just pounding the ball at the line of scrimmage, running the ball, and that was it.
Throwing about that much.
And throwing about that much, but it was really exciting to see Kevin Adams have that success, those doughboys up front, paving the way, getting to those backers, sealing off lanes for Kevin Adams to make cuts and make big plays out of the backfield. And then also Tyree Nicholson, man, what a spellback that he is, because last year we saw lights of him towards the playoffs and towards the end of the season as a sophomore, and this year as a junior he's really stepped into his own and really carried the load when Kevin Adams has been out, but he really brings a different level of physicality that Kevin Adams already brings to the table. So it's just exciting to see that duo start to really get into their own.
And now you're seeing some carries from Gavin Mundell, too, that are looking pretty good. So, yeah, this is great.
And Gavin Mundell, that's just speed coming as soon as he gets the ball out of the backfield. And so that's just another feature that we're adding to the weaponry.
All right, some observations while updating the school record book. This was the 12th win over Leander in 16 games. No team has played us more often. Georgetown has also played us 16 times. No team actually has more wins against Cedar Park than Leander's 4. God. Nobody anywhere has beat us more than 4 times.
And I mean, as a young lad, I was there for many of those losses.
Yep.
Very, very crucial in my upbringing.
This is the 10th straight win over the Lions, our longest winning streak against any opponent. Leander's last win over Cedar Park, 2007, before any current players were even old enough to be going to school.
Oh, my goodness.
This is only the 3rd time Cedar Park has logged more rushing yards than passing yards in a game since 2017. One of those other 2 times was just 4 games ago against Georgetown, so that's a nice trend.
Love running the ball. I love implementing my will.
Josh Pell's 107 passing yards was his lowest total of the season, but it puts his total for 2021 exactly at 1,400 yards and moves him into 11th on the list of best passing seasons in Cedar Park history, passing Drew Russo's 2009 total that he achieved in 11 games.
Drew Russo, dude. That's an all-namer. That one hurts.
Pell has now completed 112 passes over his career, passing Amir Alzer for 10th on the all-time list.
Shout out Alzer's Barbecue.
With his 147 yards rushing in this game, a career best, Kevin Adams' career total, now 1,509. That means he got nearly a 10th of all his career rushing yards last Friday night.
That's awesome.
And that moved him up on the all-time Cedar Park rushing list from 12th to 9th.
Wow.
Passing Thomas Middleton, Hunter Dixon, Chris Hutchings.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, those are 3 big names right there. You could put them on the Mount Rushmore of rushing attack for Cedar Park.
Kevin Adams.
Oh, my
gosh.
His
average in this game of 16.3 yards per carry is the 6th highest ever for any Cedar Park player in a game in which they've had 5 carries or more. The only other better performances in this regard were Mikhail Wilson with 17.0 versus Austin High in 11.
I want to look at his stat line in his senior year.
Corey Washington with 17.6 against Hayes in 04. Jav Guidry with 19.0 versus Vista Ridge in 15. Guidry again with 19.7 at DKR against Crosby in 14. And Brian Hogan with 23.1 yards a carry against Dripping Springs in 2010.
My QB1.
Cody Marshall's 6-yard touchdown run against Leander was his first career rushing touchdown. He becomes the 96th player ever to score a rushing touchdown for Cedar Park.
Golly.
Marshall's 36-yard punt return was the 12th longest in Cedar Park history. Nick Gruyon's 551 career receiving yards now moves him into 23rd, passing Joseph Washington.
I'm telling you, man,
unreal.
Joseph Washington, nobody could cover him on the outside on the street, baby.
The team has now scored exactly 200 points on the season in just 7 games, and this passes the full season totals of 3 previous Cedar Park teams, 2003, 2002, and 2000. Interestingly, though, these are the only Cedar Park teams to ever register a losing season.
Interesting.
The 83-yard touchdown drive against Leander on our 3rd possession was the 7th drive of 80 yards or more this season. 6 of them ended in touchdowns, 1 in a lost fumble. We later had an 86-yard drive, so we've now got 8 80-yard plus drives in the season. The two defensive stops of Leander inside the 10, one on a forced fumble, the other over on downs, is only the 5th time in school history that Cedar Park has stopped an opponent more than once inside the 10 in one game. There was seemingly a third stop of the Lions inside the 10, but actually time ran out on the half there, so the clock stopped them and not the defense. This was our first instance of consecutive wins this season, and we've now won 3 of the last 4.
Man, I'm so excited to get records against Leander. That's always fun. But the beautiful thing about it is that we have to put it behind us. We have a short week this week and a really frisky, I'm going to put them in the frisky category that Pflugerville is this year, because they're definitely chopping at the bit to get us at home this week. So that was a great performance. We need to find a way to carry that in to a 3-game winning streak.
Keep it going. Here's a look at District 11 5A scores from last week. Of course, our score 37-14 on Leander. Georgetown 41, Anderson 26. Weiss 28, Pflugerville 19. Another WTF score. Manor 51, Hendrickson 7.
God, dude, Hendrickson, man. I want to run that back tomorrow. 8 a.m., let's see who wins. I'm telling you, we win that same score. That's one that's going to, that bites us, man.
Makes the standings in 11-5A look like this. Manor at 4-0 and 6-1, shares the top with Weiss, who is also 4-0, 6-1. We're next at 3-1 and 4-3. Georgetown is 2-2 and 3-4. If they stop the season today, those are the 4 teams that would make the playoffs: Manor, Weiss, Cedar Park, Georgetown. At this point, we'd have to play a 2 seed from the AISD League. And out of the playoff money at the moment, 3 teams tied for 5th, 1 game out of the playoff money. Pflugerville's 1-3, Hendrickson's 1-3, Anderson's 1-3. Hendrickson's 1 is
Oh my gosh, they're so lucky.
And Leander's 0-4. They're in the bottom.
Womp, 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 womp.
And now let's take a look at some other scores of interest from last week. A note: the 3 6A teams we played in non-district are now 18-3, and we're one of the 3. And the other 2 were inflicted by one of those teams against another. Vandy beat Cedar Ridge. Cedar Ridge beat Round Rock.
Oh my gosh!
Love that tough scheduling. Makes us strong. 6A scores: Vandy 35, Cedar Ridge 7, Westlake 77, Hayes nothing, Bowie 51, Aikens 6, San Marcos 38, Austin High 10, Vista Ridge 45, Westwood 2. Oh man, yeah, I guess somebody hit a double with a guy at first and
ground
third.
roll double.
Lake Travis 52, Del Valley 17, Stony Point 36, Hutto 33, Round Rock 51, McNeil 7. 5A scores: the Drips beat San Antonio Veterans Memorial, playoff victim of ours in the first round last year, 47-21. Bastrop over Eastview 21-18. Eastview had been playing well.
Right.
Liberty Hill 21, Marble Falls 14. I'm a little surprised how close that was. A couple of 4A scores: LBJ 40, Fredericksburg's Battling Billies 14.
All name.
Lampasas 31, Burnett 16. And now here are 6 scores of teams coached by former coaches and players from Cedar Park. Tyler Legacy, the former Tyler Lee, 49, Mesquite Horn 27. That's Joe Willis. Legacy is 4-4 and 2-2. Lovejoy, Chris Ross's new team, 55, Lake Dallas 7. They are 7-0 and 5-0.
Whoa, take it easy.
Prosper 31, McKinney 14. Our former O-line coach Brandon Schmidt, the head coach at Prosper, they are 4-3 and 2-1. Barbers Hill 58, Santa Fe 7. Carl Absek back on the winning track. They are 3-4 and 2-1.
Carl.
Rouse, the Rouseketeers 63, Cedar Creek 16. Josh Mann, our former DC, they are 6-1 and 4-0. Mount Vernon, Brad Willard's team, 56. Bonham, nothing.
That's what I'm talking about, dude.
They're 7-0 and 4-0.
Yo, Mount Vernon has a big game this week. A FaceTime with Coach Dub last night, actually, with the babies, and he was saying that it's their district rival. And last year, they played them at home, kicked a field goal, and on the film, on the end zone camera, the ball is outside of the field goal post, and both referees go up.
Oh, my gosh.
And, there's bad blood in this game. I love small-town Texas football.
That's why they're just doing high school games and not higher. All right, in 2016, I wrote an article solicited by a high school sports website based in Dallas that Chuck Licata supplied some regular content for. The site's defunct anymore, so I can't tell you to go there and look. He said they were looking for stories about Texas high school football players getting their shot at the NFL and wondered if I would want to write something about Cedar Park's Spencer Drango, who was then just done with his time playing at Baylor. Oh, I certainly would. It turns out that this piece won me an award from the Texas Sports Writers Association as the best human interest story of the season, and on those merits they invited me into the association. The guy who ran that website was an associate sports editor of the Dallas Morning News and asked my permission to run the story in their paper. Of course. I ran across that piece yesterday. Here it is. Every American boy who's ever strapped on a pair of shoulder pads has dreamed of one day getting a chance to play at the most elite of all levels, the National Football League. But the numbers don't lie. For every kid who played in junior high, there were 3 who didn't make it past youth league. For every youngster who played on his high school freshman and JV teams, there's another whose highest level was junior high. For every varsity player, there are 2 who didn't make it past the underclass teams. For every high school starter, there is another who never did. For every all-district player, there are dozens who are not. The pyramid keeps climbing, narrowing, layer after layer with fewer slots at every level. For every collegiate player, there are hundreds of high schoolers who were not. And of the thousands of college football players nationwide, only a few dozen are invited to market their skills for NFL scouts at the annual combines. For Baylor's Spencer Drango, that chance has come. The Bears' 2-time All-Big 12 and 2-time All-American left tackle has spent 5 years in Waco protecting the blind sides of Nick Florence, Bryce Petty, and Jarrett Stidham, with scouts salivating over his size, strength, agility, and innate intelligence. All that's about to pay off. Drango has an invitation to the annual NFL Combine in Indianapolis Friday, February 26th through Monday, February 29th, and that was 2016. Compared to many who will work this weekend, his prospects are good. Nearly every draft ranking source proclaims him as a definite draft pick. Not only will Spencer get to continue to play the game he loves, but he'll not have to worry much about paying the bills for a while either. As the play-by-play man for KMAX Sports broadcast of Cedar Park football, I got to know Spencer in his years with the Timberwolves under current Prosper head coach at the time, Chris Ross, running an offense led by offensive coordinator Carl Abzek, now the head coach of the state champion Timberwolves. Said Abzek, quote, Spencer Drango is the best offensive lineman in the history of Cedar Park High School and one of the best all-around young men that I've had the pleasure of coaching in my 19 years in the profession. Humble, passionate, a leader, and an example to his teammates and classmates. A great representative of our community, unquote. A high school offensive lineman measures himself by pancake blocks, the way a quarterback might measure himself by touchdown passes. A good linesman might have 15 to 20 pancakes in a season. An all-district type might have more than 2 dozen. During his 14-game senior season at Cedar Park, Spencer Drango had 114! It was amazing to watch him rumble around the end, leading a sweep for the Timberwolves. His inevitable collisions with defenders seemed unfair, like an overloaded cement mixer slamming into a baby gazelle. If the play went through Spencer, it was going to work. Proving he's an athlete, not just a football player, Drango played center for Cedar Park basketball coach Blake Brown, and in 2011 helped lead his team all the way to the state tournament at the Irwin Center, the Final Four of Texas high school basketball. His footwork was astonishingly quick. He was a great rebounder and defender. That footwork pays off while playing offensive line, too, and no doubt was the reason Texas head coach Mac Brown came to Cedar Park's Timberdome one night to watch Spencer play hoops. But Mac came late to the recruiting race for Drango, who committed to Baylor. In Waco, Drango caught the eye not just of the Big 12 press, but of the nation, winning All-American honors in 14 and 15. His blocking was so superb that opposing defensive coordinators had to alter how they engineered the pass rush. And as a sample of that intelligence, by his final football season with the Bears, he'd already obtained his undergraduate degree and was working on his master's. For everyone who's known Spencer Drango along the way, both at Cedar Park and at Baylor, like this guy right here, his story is confirmation that everything your parents, teachers, and coaches have ever told you about hard work and dedication to both athletics and academics can indeed pay off. Spencer has set himself up for success either way, in the NFL or in business with his finance degree. Nothing but exciting times ahead for this former Timberwolf and former Bear. For those participating in this weekend's combines, the pyramid narrows yet again, as only a small percentage of those young men will ever play a down in the NFL. Bet on Spencer Drango to be one of those men.
Golly, man.
And he was.
Chills. Spencer Drango was standing up there with me when I got married this past year.
Wow.
The dude is just first class. and he always put others first, and that's just a doughboy trench dog mentality, and that's something that he carried with him on and off the field. He always made sure everybody was taken care of, and even to this day, he's the friend that checks in on everybody and makes sure everybody's still communicating. So Spencer is a special talent, and he had a great role model to look up to with his older brother, Brad Drango, who was an offensive lineman as well for Cedar Park. And then his parents are first class as well. So, I saw that piece whenever you sent that script over today, and I had to text Spencer and be like, hey, man, you need to tune in tonight. Brad's got something for you.
Hope
so shout out, Spencer, man. We really appreciate you and what you've done for this program.
And now it's off to see the Willard, the wonderful Willard of Oz. Here we go on another fascinating voyage through the wonderful world of Willard.
Man, another great weekend of college football, and we started it off with the Horns getting off to a great lead against the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and then what?
Stop me if you've seen that before.
Come on. That running back for Oklahoma State having like over $140 in the fourth quarter?
I saw a stat said the total yardage in that fourth quarter was 171 for Oklahoma State and 1 for Texas.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that was a terrible way to start off Saturday, but nonetheless, we were able to press on. My Carolina Tar Heels and Mac Brown had a thriller at home. We're able to pull it out, and so excited for my Carolina Tar Heels. But just moving forward, man, my Carolina Panthers. Oh, we had such a promising schedule going forward. Our teams were 7-13 for the next few weeks, and we dropped the Minnesota Vikings at home. That one hurts. I mean, that was like a loser leaves town game. I mean, that hurts.
When does McCaffrey get back?
Well, here's your stat line for Sam Darnold as we have the quarterbacks in the house tonight. 17 for 41.
No!
Sam Darnold was
I think I could go 17 for 41 left-handed.
He was the hot new pickup for this team, and I mean, just it's not unfolding how we wanted to. So we're combusting a little bit. That's okay. My Atlanta Braves, though, are picking up where we left off, though. We're up on the Dodgers 2-0 right now. It's where we were last year, and then we fell apart in 7 games. So hopefully the Dodgers can pull through, get to the World Series. That would be awesome for my pawpaw back home in North Carolina. And then finally, my stupid is or stupid does, it has to go to the University of Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
I was watching some college football on Saturday night, and this Tennessee-Ole Miss game was really, really intriguing with Lane Kiffin and how good Ole Miss has been playing. But it was kind of cool there, so there was a lot of injuries. This Tennessee crowd was, I mean, really hateful towards cramping and stuff like that. I get that. I mean, it's cramps. It's on you. You need to be hydrated. But it was happening on both sides, and then it escalated to where Lane Kiffin was the target of some thrown objects.
Well, that's not good.
Kiffin being hit by a golf ball that came out of the Tennessee stands while he was talking with the officials.
And in comes.
Boom! Oh, my. That wasn't a drop of hail.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's low class.
that fan got any eligibility?
Yeah, he hit the target.
Yeah, that's insane. Just how classless that Tennessee was. And that was after a really crucial fourth down pickup that Tennessee was trying to get. It looked like they got it on the instant replay, but it was marked short, so turnover on downs. Yeah. And the fans just started going bonkers and crazy. And, I mean...
And clearly that's Kiffin's fault.
Exactly, especially because he was only there for 1 year. But I'm sorry. I guess it's the old UT or the nasty UT, whatever we want to call him. It's just the disgusting UT and honestly stupid.
The wrong color of orange UT.
Stupid or something. Honestly, stupid as stupid does.
Run, Forrest. Run, Forrest, run.
Stupid.
All right, we're going to take a short break. When we return, we'll have our guest quarterback. Stick around listening to Timberwolf Night in America live from Santa Catarina right here on the Vype Live Network.
Experience the difference at Toyota of Cedar Park, one of the Austin area's newest automobile dealerships. Their new vehicle department will always stock the newest Toyota models you need. The pre-owned vehicles they choose must each pass a rigorous inspection and be in tip-top shape before they make it to their lot or website for you to see. And if you're looking for budget-friendly Toyota certified used vehicles, they've got you covered, and you can rest easy knowing that the best new cars make the best used cars. That's Toyota of Cedar Park at toyotaofcedarpark.com. Army Ant Moving calls Cedar Park home for movers that residents and businesses can rely on. For outstanding moving expertise and trustworthy estimates, Army Ant Moving stands above the rest. Their reputation speaks for itself. They've received the Angie's List Superior Service Award for the last 2 years. Their movers are highly trained and experienced, so whether you need to move your household to a new home across town or an entire corporate office to a new location, your valuables are in knowledgeable and reliable hands with Army Ant Moving Company. Check them out at armyantmoving.com.
Welcome back. Episode 8 of Timberwolf Night in America for 2021, live from Santa Catarina on Cypress Creek Road here in Cedar Park. I'm Brad Cohn, joined by Josh Willard. Mitchell Padgett's our QA tonight here on the Vype Live Network. Some quarterback-related trivia questions now for you, Josh.
Love it.
They're in the house.
Yes.
We've noted all 10 of the Cedar Park quarterbacks who have victories over Leander through the years. 2 of them had 2 wins. Our first of 3 questions here is, which Cedar Park quarterback threw for the most yards in a single game against Leander?
Most yards, single. Oh, at Ryder.
That's right. Ryder Hernandez, 277 yards last year, going 12 for 18.
Running clock.
4 touchdowns and a running clock in the second half.
Love it.
Josh Pell in that game, though, went 6 for 6 for 64 yards.
Just a precursor.
Which Cedar Park quarterback had the most total passing yards against Leander? That's most in one game. Remember, we had a couple with 2 wins over Leander. Which Cedar Park quarterback had the most total passing yards against Leander?
I'm just going to take a chance because I didn't give him props earlier. Give me the Grim Reaper.
No, Corey Washington.
Corey Washington?
He's combined.
We were at the triple option then.
I know, but his combined 2003 and 2004 totals is 278. 1 more yard than Ryder's last year total.
Wow. 1 more yard?
In 2 games.
Nah.
Only 2 Cedar Park quarterbacks have thrown for over 200 yards against Leander. Ryder's 277 last year was one of those. Who was the other?
200 against,
had some good quarterbacks. Only one of them threw for 200 or more besides Ryder.
Grim.
It's a good guess, but it was Amir Alzer.
Oh.
I wouldn't have guessed that either.
Shout out Alzer's Barbecue.
He threw for 226 and 3 scores in 2014. Corey Washington got close in 2003 with 198.
Oh, wow.
Almost got to 200. All right, last one. We mentioned 2 Cedar Park quarterbacks with 2 wins as the starter against Leander. Brian Hogan and Nate Grimm in successive stints, 10-11 and 12-13. But there were 2 other quarterbacks who, although they didn't get 2 wins over the Lions, they did have 2 starts. Who are they?
2 quarterbacks that had 2 starts?
But did not get 2 wins.
Michael Cochran?
No, he just had 1 start.
Drew Russo only had 1.
Mm-hmm.
Gah. Okay. Corey Washington?
Yes, he started in 03 and 04.
That was
first one they lost, second
tipped
one
off
they
from
won.
earlier. I
Yep.
got you, Bullshit.
Right.
Okay. Who is it?
Travis Watson.
Oh, come on.
Mentioned him earlier. He started in 05. That was a win. Started in 06. That was a loss. All right, and now our special guest tonight, the quarterbacks and their coach, Royce Rodriguez. I'm going to start with Coach Rodriguez first, and I understand from talking with Josh Pell earlier that Josh is the only one who's made it tonight. So Josh will be having a little bit extra mic time tonight when we start talking to him. So first up, though, quarterbacks coach Royce Rodriguez. First time on our show. Royce, just like I was telling you before, just kind of about an inch away. And what we want to do, since you're new to the staff this year, tell our listeners, how you got here, where you grew up, what high school you went to, what position you played, where you went to college, where you were coaching before you ended up at Cedar Park, and how you got here.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Corpus Christi, Texas. Went to Ray High School there, and my senior year I was actually competing for the job, and I got hurt, and the head coach, who was formerly at Veterans Memorial in Corpus Christi, who I know y'all played last year, Cody Semper, he asked me to be the quarterback's coach, and I took on that role, kind of full time as a student player, and fell in love with it. And so, what I did is I went to college and did some NFL and Division I quarterback training there out in California, and had some great experience. Texas A&M.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And then got my first job at Edna High School under Huey Chancellor, and spent 2 years at Lexington High School under Kirk Mole, and previous two years were at Cy Falls in Cypress, Texas, under Chris Brister. And it was actually my first year in Edna when I got to meet Carl Apsek, and kept in touch with him throughout the years. And he called me last year during the spring and offered me the quarterback's job, and I've always been drawn to the success. And
but you didn't come with Coach Q's new coaches. You came because we lost our quarterback's coach to a head coaching job in San
Nick
Antonio.
Rogers.
So
Yes,
you were
absolutely. I knew Nick as well,
yeah.
and all those coaches, and they're great guys. And when Carl gave me the call, and I said, absolutely, I've always been drawn to the culture here and the success that y'all have, and the high demands that y'all have, not just from the athletes, but from everybody, and it's a great community to be a part of. So I'm really excited to be here.
No, we're glad to have you. And what year was it you graduated high school down there at Ray?
2012.
2012. Okay. So who were the quarterbacks at A&M when you were going there?
Johnny Manziel was my freshman year.
Oh yeah,
my freshman year. Yeah, that was a good first year to be at A&M for sure. And then after that, it was they went through quite a bit. They went to Kenny Hill, Kyle Allen, Kyler Murray was there for a little bit. Kyler Murray,
Jake.
Jake Kubanek, who
he's coaching at Hutto now.
He's at Hutto,
To
absolutely.
Georgetown, yeah.
And then we have Kellen Mond, and then went through the Haynes King era for a short time, and now I'm supporting Zach Calzada. I'm a believer.
Heck yeah, dude! If you get a win over Alabama, you could get a statue out front.
Absolutely.
Come on, man!
That's
what you get. That's what it's worth.
So, Royce, give me kind of in a nutshell what your coaching and leadership style is. You got like almost the fewest number of direct reports of anybody on the team except the guy who coaches the kickers or something.
Right.
You got just a couple of quarterbacks, so a lot of individual time can be spent on them, and it's a position that needs it. So what's your philosophy about coaching quarterbacks?
My whole belief has always been to get to know the player as a person, and I've always believed in that, and then I continue to coach that way. I can't demand a lot out of Josh right here if I don't truly know who he is, and I care about him as a person before anything else, and I want him to be a successful young man, and eventually a successful man, father and husband down the road. And so I always go that way, and I always have. I want to know them as people before the number on their jersey, and that's the way I was coached, and that's the way that I'll continue to coach, because at the end of the day I can't demand a lot out of them unless they know I care, and I know that that's something that he wants, and he wants to be demanded a lot of, and the only way to do that is to show that you care about them as people, not just as a football player.
Yeah, and trust them.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are two seniors on the varsity roster, so there's no underclass guy who gets in at a large margin game to get some experience for next year. What does the position look like from the underclass teams right now?
It looks good, and that's something that has I've just been in awe of. To be quite honest with you, we've had a lot of great quarterbacks, from the freshman level, whether it's Jacob Raspberry or Bryce Schneider, and then James Hollander and Bradley Reed. Those are our four quarterbacks at the freshman level. Sophomore level, there's Aiden Arp, and then at the junior level you got Blake Padani and Aiden Long, and so a lot of guys are just wanting to take on that role, and I think it's something that's just amazing. They're all great young men, and they've all worked extremely hard to uphold that standard, and uphold the standard that really the seniors Gavin and Josh have had here.
A couple of guys already on the all-name team, Aiden Arp and Jacob Raspberry. I love it.
I love it. Yeah, we need some more all-namers. But just kind of speak to Timberwolf community about Josh and his growth. I mean, from the beginning of the season to where we're at right now. Obviously, there's still some things to improve on. We can always be sharp, but I mean, Josh has been the catalyst for this offense to keep us moving forward. And I mean, he's had tremendous growth throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best. You took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, I got to know Josh in the spring, and that was something that I was, very excited about. And I've only heard great things about him, and just how great of a character he has. And I saw that firsthand. When I went to go see practice, he was the first one to come right up to me. Actually, I didn't go up to him, and he said, "Hi, I'm Josh Pell, and you're the new quarterbacks coach, right?" And like, wow, I was just kind of in awe of that. But throughout the summer, he was there every single day, and through the coaching transition, he and I were there, every single day, and he did a tremendous job of during that transitional phase of taking that big step forward and getting his guys rallied to continue to work, even through the unknown. But he continues to just want to be the best, and that's something that I will, speak. I could ramble on about his desire to be the best. He's always asking, "Hey, let's watch film, right? We're watching film, right?" He's like, "Yeah, absolutely." So those are traits that you can't really teach, and he's got great parents that have raised him to be respectful, to raise him to be hardworking, and to be dedicated, and to really go 100% in everything that he does. And there's two different types of players. Some you got to kind of put a foot in their rear, and others you got to pull the reins back. And I've always said that Josh is that kind of kid, and he's that kind of player you got to pull the reins back on and say, "Hey, man, it's going to be okay." But I love his competitive edge, and I love his desire to be the best in everything he does.
Well, as his coach, and I'm sure neither of these answers I'm about to get from you are going to be a surprise to him as he coaches him every day. Tell us what you think is his greatest strength and what's his greatest weakness.
His greatest strength, I kind of said it earlier. It's that hunger, and that's something that again you can't really teach and coach. It's there, or you either have it or you don't. And I know with quarterbacks, he's constantly playing with a chip on his shoulder. And sometimes it sounds funny, but sometimes that's his weakness, because you got to say, "Hey, man, calm down a little bit." But I never do, and that's something that. Again,
that's passion,
I love. It's just passion. It really is. He loves Cedar Park football. He loves his teammates. He loves being a Timberwolf. He just loves everything about it. And I'm in awe of it. I really am, and it's something that I enjoy coaching. There's never a day where I have to wake up and say, "Man, I hope he brings it today." No, he's bringing it all the time. And that's something that. That's just, I love coaching.
All right, thanks. Royce Rodriguez, our quarterback's coach in his first full season. He was here with the spring. Now we're going to go ahead. You don't have to change
give it to the man of the hour over here.
Josh Pell, our starting quarterback this year. And, Josh, we're going to go over your numbers here. On the season, 104 for 176, 6 picks, 14 touchdowns, exactly 1,400 yards, 8.0 yards per attempt. Averaging right at 200 yards a game, 59.1 completion percentage. Your high percentage-wise was against Anderson. You went 14 for 19 for 250 and 5 for 73.7 percentage and 13.2 yards per attempt. It was a high in that figure, too. Are you having fun?
Oh, yeah. I'm having super fun in my senior season.
I bet so. You worked a long time for this. Coach Absek gave me a free ticket to come up to the underclass games on Thursday nights, and I would often come up when the JV was playing at home when you were the starting quarterback and watch you. So I've seen you play quarterback for a couple of years prior to this year, and you always did a great job at whatever level I saw you at.
Thank you.
The one thing that seems better to me in your game than I remember when you were the JV quarterback was I don't remember a lot of running. And as the varsity quarterback, you're taking off and running more and running well. Do you like the running?
Yeah, I do like running. I mean, it's something kind of I've always had in my bag. I've been like a dual threat quarterback my whole life. I obviously look to pass first, but if I do got to take off, I have no problem doing it and picking up some extra yards. So.
And I think that's something that is kind of overlooked because of your success on the ground this year is you're a good pocket passer. You've done well in your offseason. I paid attention, and you were winning awards. You were doing great in 7-on-7. So you have the ability to locate receivers. And I'm talking you did when you found Cody Marshall down the middle to beat Georgetown. What did it feel like to throw that touchdown on the road.
Yeah, no, that was definitely something I'm gonna remember for my whole life. I mean, I can't even explain really the feeling.
Gosh,
But
I wish.
It was crazy just letting the ball go out of my hand and seeing it like time up with Cody, and knew that it was just gonna work out, and the throw was gonna get there, and he was gonna score, and we were gonna win. I mean.
So was it a read play where you were going to look for whoever was open, or was it supposed to go to him? Which was it?
I mean, we kind of motioned to a stack formation, and Cody was just kind of like a clear out route. But I mean, he did a good job getting behind the defense, and I kind of saw it pre-snap that there was going to be a chance. So he did a good job of taking off with speed and got behind the defense. So I just had to give him a chance.
Left.
So he was so far. But when you threw the ball, he's so far behind those guys.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be thinking, okay, I don't want to miss him.
Right.
He's so far.
Yeah.
Adrenaline, no, not right now. Nervous, slippery hand, no, not right now. You got to be thinking all those things in the instant that you're throwing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
When you let go of it, when did you know, okay, I got it?
I thought when I threw, I thought I left it short a little bit. I thought I underthrew him, but I mean, probably about 5-10 yards before I was like, okay, all right, this is going to be good.
Going to get it.
Yep.
Wow, it was amazing. How long did it take you to get down to the end zone yourself and chest bump it?
Not that long, maybe like 3 seconds. Yeah. I mean, I was down there pretty quick. I was running with Kevin down the field, and we were just screaming in excitement, just running down to the end zone. So
what excitement! Mm-hmm. So last year you backed up Ryder, who had all these amazing best in the state kind of numbers. I'm sure you're taking mental notes the entire time and looking at what he does and how he gets it done and seeing what of that you can incorporate into your game, right?
Right. Yeah, no, I would always look at him. I mean, I was with him almost every day, and he would teach me some stuff, so I would always try to pick up on anything I can. And when I'm on the sidelines and he's playing, I would always just kind of watch how he would operate. So.
Now, Josh, you played baseball too, don't you?
I played soccer my
soccer.
Sophomore year, yeah. Yes, sir.
Soccer.
And
that's
then,
an unusual combination.
Yeah,
football, quarterback, and a soccer.
And I ran track last year as well. So.
What event?
I ran the 4x4, 4x2, and then the open 400.
4x4.
I did triple jump and long jump. I just like the approach.
And I long jump too as well.
Wow, those are pretty good events. So, what position were you in soccer? I'm a former soccer coach of a girls' club team that won state one time.
Oh, really? Nice. Yeah. So I grew up playing soccer my whole life. I was always kind of just playing somewhere in the midfield.
Yeah.
And then my sophomore year,
which is quarterback in soccer, by the way.
Thank you.
And then my sophomore year, my brother was a senior, and he was on the soccer team, and he was like one of the better players. So I wanted to play with him for his last senior season. And I grew up playing soccer my whole life, so I knew I wasn't gonna have to adjust too much to it. I kind of had that natural skill from when I was younger. So when I played on the high school team, I was the starting center back for that sophomore year. So I played defense. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrific. So no soccer anymore, and you're not baseball, but still track, right?
Yes, sir.
So what kind of plans have you got your senior year? What are you be doing after high school football's done?
I'm not too sure yet. I'm just kind of focused on the season right now. Definitely going to college, interested in Texas Tech and Baylor and just some schools around here, seeing what I can do with football. But
what field of study are you interested in?
Somewhere in the business, maybe sports business, finance.
Good.
Yeah.
We need more of that.
We need that.
The business of America
really need that.
is business.
Right.
We really need that. I got sales on lock.
Sweet.
So, I mean, with your experience last year, I mean, now you're senior. I cannot believe we only have 3 games left.
I know.
Right?
4 if we make the playoffs.
That's right. Well, no, that's what I'm saying. For the regular season, 3 games left.
3, right.
What was your favorite moment as a Timberwolf so far?
Can you guess it?
I think we just talked about it.
Yeah, the Georgetown moment.
I was just making sure.
Definitely, I would have to say the Georgetown game for sure. That last second pass is probably.
I mean, and down 28-7.
I know, and biggest.
That's
comeback,
pretty insane.
Now, you picked Anderson apart. 14 completions, only threw 19 times, but 5 touchdowns and 14 completions. Better than 1 out of every 3 passes goes for a touchdown. Talk about your receiving core. These guys are, when we started the season, you know how many receiving yards that we had returning to the lineup? 0. Mm-hmm. None of them had ever caught a pass on the varsity team. And now look at Gruyon. Look at Cody.
Right.
Look at Joseph Edwards.
Carter.
Talk about those guys.
Yeah, no, they've really started to come along on the season, and even in the beginning of the season. I mean, Nick played defense last year, so did Cody. So we made that transition this year that Nick was going to be our receiver. I mean, he always was our receiver freshman year. He was my guy. I'd always throw to him, so I'm glad we got him back on the offensive side of the ball. So I knew he was going to be a big threat. Not too many people knew about him because he played defense last year. But yeah, and then I'm happy we got Cody back on our offensive side of the ball too. He's a huge addition in the slot, gives a defense a lot to worry about. But those two right there, there's some good receivers to have. And then I also got Joseph Edwards out there. I mean, people can sleep on him all they want, but I mean, he's stepping up. He's starting to really find his stride, and halfway through this season, and my trust with him is starting to grow, and our rapport is starting to take off. So I'm happy with that. Oh yeah.
Well, that's also too those offensive linemen. I mean, they've been doing really well the past couple games and giving you a good clean pocket to throw out of the pocket. I mean, talk about the Doughboys.
Yeah, let's talk about the linemen.
Yeah,
man. I love talking about the linemen. They do a lot. Yep. I love those guys, man. They do so much. I've really started to become real close with them this season, and just growing with them, and they're always having something to say. They always bring some positivity. Something's always going on between them five. I mean, it's always something, but it's pretty cool. I love those guys.
Yeah, another receiver that I forgot to mention that has kind of come back now from an injury, Houston Molinaro. I'm glad to see his catch. His first catch in weeks, and he goes for 30 yards.
Yes, we're all happy to have him back.
I felt like you and Molinaro were last year the quarterback and running back that would come in, and y'all exploded in that day game against Pflugerville last year.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that too, yeah. When Houston got a couple carries as running back. Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad to have him back in the lineup, and I'm sure you are too, as this offense is really starting to click lately. We've won 3 of the last 4.
Yes, sir.
Talk about, what's the conversation between you guys about the Hendrickson game?
I mean, it was honestly kind of more of a wake-up call for us. I mean, it kind of really put our season in perspective. We need to tighten up. We need to work some things out and really lock in for the last couple of weeks of district. So I mean, obviously you hate to see it, but I mean it kind of woke our team up a little bit.
Yeah, it can be a good thing. Yeah, in the right context.
It's never really a good thing, but in the sense that
here's where. The part of it that's good is they're in last place.
Right.
So you're not going to be competing with them head-to-head when the final district title standings come. It's not like, oh, my gosh, Hendrickson's there, and now we've got a loss. They're ahead of us in the standings.
Right.
Even if they're tied with us, well, they ain't going to be tied with us. Mm-hmm. That happened to us in 14. We were tied near the top of the standings, and everybody had lost to each other. And our loss was to Dripping Springs, who was in last place. So we got it. You know?
Yeah.
We had wins against all the people we were head-to-head. So there's the kind of good aspect of losing to a last-place team. You're not going to be competing with them in any head-to-head. It's not going to be them. So anyway, all right. Josh Bell talking with us here. Josh and Royce are going to be back after the break a little ways when we do some trivia. But right now we're going to take another short break. When we return, more nonstop honking at the Cedar Park football horn right here from Santa Catarina on Timberwolf Night America. This is the Vype Live Network.
A premier real estate brokerage in Central Texas, Mungia Real Estate's innovative buy-sell process results in their listings selling faster than the Austin average. Their attention to clients sets Mungia apart from other brokerages with creative marketing strategies, savvy negotiation skills, and a commitment to hard work and excellent customer service. Whether it's residential, single-family, multifamily, condos, commercial, or vacant land, Mungia Real Estate knows the Austin market and connects buyers with sellers every day. And they do it with professionalism. Mungia Real Estate at 512-922-4267 or mungiarealestate.com. That's MUNGIA.
You know the Alzer family. They've been involved in Cedar Park sports for years, just as Alzer's Barbecue has been involved in Cedar Park cuisine for years. It's one-of-a-kind, authentic Texas barbecue. Brisket, turkey, chicken, lamb, terrific sides and sauces. It's sheer succulence. That's Alzer's Barbecue, next to the Shell Station on 1431, just east of Lakeline. Open Friday through Sunday, every weekend.
Hey high schoolers, are you interested in a career in sports media? Vype can help. Launched in 2017, our Vype U Ambassador Program is a one-of-a-kind educational scholarship program that offers high school students a chance to gain hands-on experience in the sports media field. Vype U also gives students a platform to build their portfolio of creative work under the guidance of Vype's seasoned professionals. From covering games to publishing photos, writing articles, and conducting on-camera interviews, each Vype U ambassador receives an immersive experience geared toward their interests while promoting their own school and preparing them for their future. Email info@vypemedia.com to find out more about Vype U today.
At WaFd Bank, formerly Washington Federal, working together isn't new for us. We've been awarded America's Best Big Bank by Newsweek. From digital options, touchless transactions, and increased nonprofit contributions to help our neighbors, we're here for you. Our bankers approved more than 9,000 PPP loans to keep small businesses going during the pandemic. WaFd Bank is a local bank and portfolio lender with more than 200 branches in 8 states to serve you. 24/7 online and mobile banking with mobile check deposits, over 32,000 ATMs, free checking. WaFd Bank, your local bank for personal and business banking at wafedbank.com or 800-324-9377.
Royce Rodriguez. And before we move on, there's something we just talked about in the break that I want to bring up that I forgot to bring up with Josh. He's also our punter, doing a good job at that. And, you know, the last couple of years, we've faked a punt on fourth down about 25 times. Haven't really done it this year, but it's interesting that we've got the starting quarterback as the punter. You'll work on a fake punt? There we go.
I started off the season as a punter, and then after, like, I think the first game or second game, I'm no longer the punter, just straight to quarterback. So I don't punt anymore, but I did those first 2 games. I enjoyed it, though.
Well, when we fake, we probably should put you
right.
back there.
I told Coach Ross that as the holder, one time I'm going to call fire.
Yep.
I'm not going to tell you when, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I never did, but
never did.
Never did.
Coach Ross would have made him walk home the other way around the world.
That's okay. Better than Urban Meyer.
All right, NEA questions. As we continue to attack Josh here with 3 questions each Tuesday night that the National Education Agency says high school seniors should know, here are this week's 3 questions. Fair warning, this is actual information, not pop culture tripe or how to load an app onto your iPad. Here we go with tonight's 3 questions. Josh got 1 out of 3 the first week, 2 out of 3 the second, third, fourth, and 7th weeks, for a total now of 9 out of 15. We didn't do it in the 5th and 6th weeks. Okay, first question, Josh.
All right, I'm educated.
Which of the following countries have socialist government?
Oh, man.
Cuba, Venezuela.
Oh, I get some multiple choice.
Vietnam. Well, you got to answer for each one. I'm going to read them first, and we'll go back one at a time. Cuba, Venezuela, Vietnam, China, Czechoslovakia, Bulgaria, and Russia. Which of them have socialist governments? How about Cuba?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct. Venezuela.
Yes.
Yes. Vietnam.
No.
They do.
Damn. Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
China.
Yes.
Yes. Czechoslovakia.
No.
No. Bulgaria.
Yes.
No.
Oh.
Russia.
No.
No. They were the most famous heavy socialists for a long time, but not anymore.
Nice.
So you got, of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, you got 5 of them right.
How you like them apples?
Not bad. I'm going to give you a win point for that one.
All right.
All right, next question. If you're not filing quarterly, by what date should you file your federal income tax?
April 15th.
There you go. He's 2 out of 2.
I know that one.
Last NEA question.
Thank you, TurboTax.
After the Alamo was seized, the Texian army, as they called them back then, fought several battles against Santa Anna's army, San Patricio, Agua Dulce, Refugio, Coleto, and San Jacinto. How many of those battles did the Texian army win?
1.
1. Which one?
San Jacinto.
San Jacinto.
Happened so fast.
It's kind of like a soccer game. You can get your ass kicked all night long. They got the ball the whole time. There's 27 shots on goal to none, and you get a break when it goes in, and the game is over, and you win. And you got your butt kicked all night.
Love it.
That's what happened in the War of Independence for Texas.
That's a Tar Heel mentality.
All right. It's rant time now. Here's my rant for tonight. We have a rant most weeks. Sometimes it's sports, sometimes it's not. This one's not sports. This one is about nobody knows how to do their job anymore. And it's really getting annoying. On the average, I'd bet 5 to 8 times a week I have to correct some minion regarding how they screwed up what they were supposed to be, what they were paid to be doing for me. I'm getting less and less gentle about conducting this corrective process. I now firmly understand the grumpy old man concept. It's not that we're actually grumpy, is it, Craig? It's just that after having every drive-through window you've ever visited get your simple order wrong once every 3 times for the last 30 years, after the umpteenth time your bank made an error and then made you pay for it, after your pharmacy once again charges you the non-generic rate for the generic drug they gave you, after your fence builder puts the pickets on the wrong side of the support ties, after your order from Amazon was wrong for the second time this week, after the tire guys put your new tire on the left front instead of the right rear like you clearly told them, after your doctor calls you on the 3rd about missing your appointment on the 2nd when their original email said it's on the 4th, we've just had enough of all of it. Some 30-something will just chuckle and wave it all off with a charitable, well, everybody makes mistakes, since this is only the 97th time any of it's ever happened to him, and he's unable to realize that he's got a lifetime stretching ahead of him to truly test that charity. But our society is headed for oblivion if our teenagers can't get a number 1 with the Sprite and a number 3 with the Coke right better than 2 out of every 3 times. If our pharmacists can't type in the right number, if your bank can't navigate its own data systems, if your fence builders or any other number of service providers can't follow your instructions effectively. So, I'm wanting to install a small platform over 2 metal support arms at the top of my little 5-step 2-sided ladder that gets you into our above-ground pool. This will solve 2 issues. One, it gives the grand girls a little place to jump into the water from that's several inches higher and more stable underfoot than the narrow top step of the ladder. And 2, it lessens the precariousness of the bent-over turnaround we oldie adults have to make on the skinny top stair. So I take my measurements, which tell me the area I'm covering is 12.5 inches by 15 inches, and off I go to Home Depot to figure out the best way to do this. Right away, I find a 6-foot-long pine 1x12, and only 6 feet, which is going to be something like $16. So I'll cut 18 inches off the 6-foot length. I take the board over to the cutting area and tell the attendant I need 18 inches cut off one end. He does so and hands it to me. It's perfect. I trundle up to the checkout counter and realize just as the guy's starting the checkout process that there's nothing to scan on this virgin piece of wood, no UPC, no stamp numbering, nothing. I tell him it's 18 inches off a 1x12 6-foot pine board, if that helps. He punches something into his system and says, "We don't have 1x12s. Well, I look at him with a quizzical smile for half a heartbeat, thinking he's pulling a quick joke on me or something, since, well, there it is, right there. He keeps looking at me, and so I bend my head down to within 6 inches of the board and stare at it for about 3 seconds, raise back up and say, "Yes, you do. I got one right here." I mean, it's not like I'd gone over and stolen one from Lowe's and brought it over to the Home Depot checkout line. He asked if I could go take a picture of that little sign in front of those boards so he could get the UPC from that. Certainly, I said, since my one mea culpa here is that this is something I should have thought of in the first place. Went back and got it, came back to the checker, showed him the pic, he scans it, gets a hit in the database, points to it on the screen and tells me with great satisfaction, "See? That's a 1/2 inch by 12. Without missing a beat, I enlarged the pic on my phone and showed him where the sign said 1x12. Then whipped out the tape measure I'd brought and held it up to the board, showing him that without a doubt it was indeed 1 inch thick. He appeared to ignore that corrective redirect, then continued the checkout process, but didn't get very much farther before he said, "We can't sell you that." What? "We can't just sell you the 18 inches. We have to sell you the whole board." To which I reply, "Well, you're going to fail at that. Go get your manager." He just looks at me for about 3 seconds, so I add, "Now!" That doesn't go over with him very well, or the people who've gotten in line behind me. They scatter to other lines. The manager comes up and we recount the situation. He confirms that they can't sell me that 18-inch piece, that I'd need to buy the whole board. "So," said I, "you're going to make me pay 4 times as much as I need to pay to get my item?" Wow, certainly a creative way to price gouge. I'm glad the furniture store didn't make me buy 4 new couches. I'm glad the fabric store didn't make my wife buy the whole bolt when they cut 2 yards off for her. And the Texas Roadhouse didn't make me eat the whole cow when I ordered a 12-ounce porterhouse. "Well," he stammered, bureau speak, corporate speak, inconsequential rambling, uncomfortable cough. I cut into his polysyllabic nonsense with, "So, in a lumber shortage, you're going to now have a 4.5-foot board and an 18-inch board that you'll just have to throw onto the scrap heap because your own policy tells you that you cannot sell either of those." His eyes spin for a second as he tries to find some sort of rational retort that didn't continue to dig him into a logic hole, and then he says, stuttering vacillation, meaningless harumph, managerial mumbo-jumbo, resigned shrug. I started to turn toward the exit, saying to both of them, Home Depot really needs to have smarter people working for him. And so the grumpy old man drove over to Lowe's. On the way over, I realized that this outfit might have the same customer screwing policy, so I decided if they did, I'd get the whole 6 feet sliced into 4 equal 18-inch pieces, and that way, at least I'd have replacements for my platform for a while. They didn't have the exact same product there, though. I did find a 16-foot 1x6 that I could cut into a bunch of 18-inch pieces, even if my platform would no longer be one piece, but 2 connected together side by side. I'd already passed a sign in the cutting area that stated they didn't cut treated wood, so I was sure to get the board from the untreated section. Their labeling signs indicated either 1 by 6 by 16 or treated 1 by 6 by 16. And, of course, treated wood's of a much darker shade as well. I took it over the cutter, asked for the several 18-inch lengths to be cut, and he said, correctly, but making no salient point, we don't cut treated wood. Yeah, I know, I said, at a loss as to why he felt the need to utter that sentence at that moment. I mean, I'm sure they don't plug flat tires or forge iron or bake cakes here either. In this context, with me standing there with an obviously untreated board, those statements were about as relevant as his. Still, he just stood there, thinking that maybe he's just mistaken about the nature of this board. I attempted to plow forward with, this isn't treated wood. Yes, it is. Oh, so he wasn't wrong, he was just stupid. Now it was my turn to stare dumbfounded. I got this from the aisle over there that contains untreated wood. You can see it's the brighter color of untreated wood, not the darker shade that this is, and I pointed right behind me where the stacks of darker treated wood were. Well, this is treated wood and we don't cut that. And he twirled and walked away briskly before I could belittle him with unwavering righteousness into a shivering, sobbing child, as I've sadly had to do a few times before, most recently with an intractable KFC manager when last Wednesday they made us wait half an hour and then brought out somebody else's order. So back home I came with no wood and no platform. We'll have to devise some other way to improve something at my home, since the home improvement industry is unable to conduct itself with much intelligence because nobody knows how to do their job anymore. And this man right here, my spotter, Brad Boschel, who comes to most TNIAs and sits beside me at the home games with a pair of binoculars stuck to his head, he came to the rescue. I sent this basically in a message form to a bunch of friends of mine, and he came back with, I got some tools of wood. What's the measurements again? I'll cut one for you. So he did, and the platform is in place, and Lowe's nor Home Depot made a freaking dime off of me. End of rant.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn! All right, one more quarterback trivia-related question for you, Josh. Multiple choice this time.
I love these.
Josh Pell here has now logged 7 consecutive games of 100 yards passing or more in his career. Where does that place him in the school record book for most consecutive 100-yard-plus passing games? 3rd, 5th, or 7th?
Nate Grimm has got to be on there. Mackey's got to be on there. Ryder's got to be on there. 5th.
Only 2 other Cedar Park quarterbacks have longer streaks of 100-yard-plus passing games. Sexton had 12 straight, spanning 15 and 16, and Ryder Hernandez had 39 straight, every game he ever played. But Josh Pell is 3rd.
Oh, my gosh,
That's
dude.
7 in a row going.
I'm telling you, man, played for Cedar Park forever, was a slot receiver, never got even one freaking catch. So the fact that you're on all these records, that's outstanding.
All right, now it's time to play some trivia. We're going to play a game called Texas Largest Stadiums. And to do that, we're going to split into a couple of teams. And I think what we're going to do, we're going to have Josh and Brad Boschel.
Oh, we got
up,
this, dude.
And they're going to play against the quarterback crew, the coach, Royce, and the quarterback, Josh. And we'll just take turns seeing how many of these stadiums, and these are non-racing stadiums, so Texas Motor Speedway at 6 million people is kind of off the list. These are, football, baseball, soccer, whatever.
It's the Willard of Oz, dude.
At every level, NFL, collegiate, high school, whatever. I've got here listed the top 18. If you name one that's not in the top 18, you just don't get any points for it. Anything you name that's in the top 18, you get points commensurate with how many people they officially can seat. And that's seat. So remember that. Doesn't include SRO.
Yeah, Cowboy Stadium, dude.
Stadium that has a big SRO number. That's not
another reason to hate the Cowboys.
So we'll let the player and coach go first. So Team QB, what is your first guess at a large top 18 seating capacity stadium in Texas?
We'll go with AT&T Stadium.
AT&T Stadium is
I gave him that one.
Yes, let's see.
I gave him that one.
Log it in here for heck's sake, and the capacity there is, for seating, 105,121. Oh. So they are up 105,121 to nothing. All right, team commentators.
Let's roll it. Here, you want to say it into my mic?
You get it.
Come here. Come on.
Kyle Field.
Ooh, that was nice.
Kyle Field. It is the 3rd largest in the state.
Oh!
It seats. Whoop, I'm typing in the wrong place.
Still points.
Yep. Now I got to spell it right.
Love
Kyle
it.
Field, and they seat 102,733.
All right.
So closed the gap. Very narrow.
Volley back to you.
The lead is 2,388 for Team QB, and it's the top of the second, and they're up.
All right, we'll go with DKR.
DKR is the
Cop
second
out.
largest.
Cop out.
For a long time, the Aggies were the largest, but with the new addition in the South End Zone, Texas,
Which is
has
beautiful.
passed them. Oh, it's cool looking.
Which is
they
awesome.
seat 103,500. All right.
That's all there is to it.
So team commentators, bottom of the second.
It's got to be.
Yeah, we're gonna go NRG.
NRG, number 5 at 72,200.
We left out another one, dude. I'm sorry, I can't give us a winning horn on that one.
Down by 33,688. Team QB.
We'll go with the Cotton Bowl.
Cotton Bowl is up there at number 4.
Big tax.
Let's see, they seat. Oh, let me get this over here where I can see it.
I hate
better.
that stadium too.
They seat 92,100.
Was that? Which one was that?
Springsteen.
What number was that?
That was number 4.
That was the one. Dadgummit.
Okay.
Okay.
Team commentators.
I really need you to pull
Bottom
through,
of the third.
Bullshit. I really need you to come through.
Down by almost 123,000.
What about the? We're gonna go Alamo Dome for 200. Alamo Dome 200.
6.
Ooh.
Number 6, 64,000 even.
That's called pressure, brother.
All right, narrowed the lead to 61,000. Team QB, top of the 4th. 7-inning contest.
We'll go Baylor.
Baylor Stadium.
McLean.
Baylor McLean Stadium is on the list, but at number 12, 45,140.
Beautiful stadium. The house that
stadium.
Robert built.
But they made it too small.
And you know who actually had the first broadcast ever out of that stadium? Us. Against
Toledo.
Jav Guidry on the jet sweep. There he goes.
Jet sweep. He plays for the Jets.
Jets, Jets.
Yeah, you know what happened that time is that Baylor was going to have their very first game in it on a Saturday. Art Briles is coaching them.
Sun Bowl.
And so the coach of Aledo and Carl Absack got together and said, hey, why don't we move this? It was going to be home and home, us and Aledo those 2 years.
Yeah.
Why don't we see if we move this game to Baylor Stadium, just on a large C? And so they called Art Briles, and he thought it was a wonderful idea because they could operationally test drive their stadium. They have all their people running all the functions of the stadium a day before they ever use it the first time, and they could note and iron out the bug, have a day to iron out the bugs. So he said that was great. Didn't even charge them rent.
I farted in the
and
press
so the
box.
very first game ever.
That was me.
Very
that
first
was
game
me.
ever played was Cedar Park and Aledo, and the very first touchdown was Jav Guidry, about 48 yards up the left sideline. All right, so bottom of the 4th now for team commentators.
We're gonna go Sun Bowl. Sun Bowl.
Sun Bowl is number 9, 51-5.
We left some on the table, dude.
Let me see what our score is now.
Let's close.
They're up by 55-4-28. Up by a
we
good
really
size
need
stadium.
another. We need another whiff.
Top of the 5th, so 3 innings left.
Another whiff.
We'll go with TCU Stadium.
Oh,
TCU
yeah, you're never gonna win with
Stadium.
TCU, dude.
Let me
Sorry,
see.
Patterson, dude. What a loser.
They are
Sorry.
number 13 at 45-140.
God, I do not like Patterson. I never have. No, I'm not a fan. Nah, not a fan. I don't know. Goodness gracious.
Okay, so we're to the bottom of the 5th now. You're trailing by about 100,000.
Okay. What about? All right, Cougs. That's got to be something.
You have got number 7.
Nah.
Number 7 and number 8 and number 10 and number 11 are still on the table.
Let's go with what you want to do. This is Sleb Shot. You got this. Taking way too long. Okay, he's going Tech. I'd never want to win with Tech, but we're gonna go Tech.
They that's Jones AT&T Stadium, not Jerry Jones AT&T Stadium, just plain old Jones.
It's the
AT&T
Tortilla Stadium.
Yeah, Tortilla Field, 60,454.
Wow.
They're the 8th largest. So
that's not bad.
Yeah.
Trending in the right direction.
So you close the gap to 40 grand as we go to the 6th inning, top of the 6th for Team QB.
Is Globe Life one?
Globe Life is on there. Let me make sure. It's number 11 at 48-114.
That's a good one.
48.
Man, and my brother got to play there last year. Coach Ross had 2 playoff games there.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Playing at a baseball field.
Pretty cool.
All right, bottom of the 6th with team commentators.
It's a lot better than Burger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nelson Field. Number 10 is still in play.
I already said the Sun Bowl.
Number 7 is still in play.
Dude. Come on. You've been around. That doesn't count in this, dude. All right. We've got to come up with something in 5, 4, 3, 2. It's the Cougs.
Cougars?
Yep.
Houston Cougars?
That's
Let me
the
see if it's
stadium.
on here.
I don't know what it's called.
It's called Tadeku Stadium.
The Den.
It is number 14
Oh,
at 42-822.
All right. There's the door. It's wide open.
And we go now to the top of the 7th, last swing of the bat for Team QB.
All right, we're going to go the Rice Stadium.
There you go. That's one of the biggies at number 10.
Isn't that like a historical landmark? Because JFK gave a speech there?
Yeah, that's right. It's not as big as it used to be. For years, like when I was in college, 72,000. When it hosted the Super Bowl, Vikings and Dolphins, 72,000. They have blocked off most of the upper deck and end zones.
So these stadiums have to be in function right now?
Yeah.
Oh. Astrodome, dude.
42,822.
That's totally in play then.
Or 47,000.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, so your last guess.
That threw me off. I thought I was going to be able to sneak
Say
in
who?
Astrodome.
Well, you can.
What?
Because they still play a couple high school games there once in a while.
I thought it was torn to the ground.
No.
That's beautiful.
They won't do that even if they never use it because it's designated National Historic Landmark. First dome stadium in the world.
Okay. We got to think of a good one.
You can do that one.
No, I don't want to do that. Oh, yeah. Friday Night Lights, Odessa Permian. That's only like 15,000, dude.
Hey, you sure you want to do that?
No, I'm not. I don't want to do that. That's freaking old Bible. That's old Bible.
Yeah, that's old Bible.
Okay. That was just a test. Okay, really blanking here, Bosholt. We're gonna go with so Floyd Casey. You can't use that.
Right, it is torn down.
That one is torn down. That was a big stadium.
Not really. What? Smallest stadium in the Southwest Conference.
Okay. Let's just do SMU Stadium. Let's have fun. Go Bam Bam. Tyler Levine.
SMU, let me find it. Gerald J. Ford Stadium, not the president. 32,000.
Oh.
You should have gone with the Astrodome because the Astrodome seats 62,439.
I would have.
It's number 7.
They don't give participation trophies in this game.
Final score, Team QB 486,115, commentators 435,709, 50,406 the margin, and Team QB wins again.
Bam!
Dun, dun, dun.
That's all there is to it.
All right.
Beautiful.
Good deal. All right. Now it's time for a preview of Pflugerville. As usual, I'm going to cede a lot of this to the coach in-house here after I give a little background. Pflugerville and Cedar Park spent 6 years together in one of the toughest 6A districts in the state from 02 to 07. Pville was the only team in that district in those 6 years that had a winning record against Cedar Park at 4-2. Timberwolves won the 2004 and 6 games. Then the two programs are separated until 2018. Cedar Park has won each of these last 3 years, 18, 19, 20, taking the lead in the series. The Panthers now 5 wins to 4. Last year at the Gup, it was a 67-14 slaughter in which Cedar Park gained close to 700 yards. Nonetheless, a bright spot for the Panthers was the performance of running back Jake Iloka. Oh, my God, remember that? Who ran for 217 yards on 15 carries, a 14.5 average, and a 63-yard touchdown, plus another run of 73 yards. At least they caught him from behind on that one. The 217 was the 6th most rushing yards any Cedar Park defense has ever allowed to an individual and the most ever allowed in a victory. The 73-yard run was the 3rd longest run ever allowed by Cedar Park. Going into that game, we were mostly worried about stellar running back Elijah Oakman, whom we held to just 55 yards, 100 under his average at the time. The bad news is that both of those guys are back for Thursday night's game. Their quarterback, Jalen Reeves, has average throwing stats, but the Panther ground game is deadly. They have 5 guys averaging better than 4.8 yards a carry. Oakman has 817 yards and 11 touchdowns. Iloka has 485 and 6. Both are averaging over 6.5 yards per carry. Stopping that ground game will determine whether we win or lose. The Panthers started out hot this year but have cooled off a bit lately. They start off with solid wins over Laredo United, Glenn and McNeil. Laredo United sounds like a soccer team. Glenn and McNeil to open 3-0. Since then, they've only won one of the next 4, falling to Anderson, Maynard, and Weiss in district play and beating only Leander, who's in last place. They are 4-3 overall, 1-3 in district play. So, Coach Royce Rodriguez, what are the keys going to be from a quarterbacking perspective Friday night?
I think they are what they are every single week, and I think Josh has done a great job of it. He's going to take care of the football. He's going to make the right decisions, trust his teammates, trust the pocket, and give his teammates the ability to make plays in the open field. And he's done that every week, and so we trust him with and have the utmost confidence in his ability as well as his teammates' ability. And so, like we said, taking care of the football and taking what the defense gives us, at the end of the day, that's what it's really going to be about. And leading on the 5 guys up front, which is what we continue to do and what we will continue to do, moving forward.
And Josh, I think to me the 3 keys across the whole team, so just quarterbacks, are turnovers, avoid them, penalties on key plays. It doesn't matter so much if we get 9 penalties if none of them meant anything, but you can't have a touchdown call back or a 4th down conversion call back on a 15-yard. So penalties on key plays, turnovers, and missed tackles. Avoid all of those, and we win.
I think if we can wrap up and, contain this running game, I think our offense has, the comfortability now this deep into the district race of, trying to win multiple ways with the ground game as well as distributing the ball to the outside. I think we're comfortable in, adapting to whatever the defense is going to give us. So it is going to come down to the black rain and making open field tackles, wrapping them up at the line of scrimmage, not letting them get past to those backers and to the safeties. So it's going to be a very physical game. Pflugerville's always been a physical team. I mean, back when we played, man, that was kind of the team that was – going into it, you knew it was going to be a physical game. People were going to be in the training room the next day.
As Chris Ross would say, they always got a team full of grizzly bears and greyhounds.
Yeah. I mean, they truly are athletic. They play physical, and they're passionate. And so what y'all did to everybody last year, I've told everybody that Timberwolf Night in America, you created the biggest target on your back. I mean, everybody's swinging at y'all every single week. And so you've kind of gotten a taste of that to where we're at now, but we're riding a lot of positives right now. Trust those Doughboys, and you are making the right decisions every time in the pocket. So you got playmakers out them, let them go make plays.
All right, that's it for our 8th episode of Timberwolf Night in America for the 2021 season. Timberwolves face Pflugerville at the Field Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Remember, Thursday. Don't wait till Friday to make your plans to go. Our pregame show is at 6:45. I'll have the play-by-play. Josh here with color and analysis. Cecil Kokenauer with technical production and additional commentary. Our thanks to our guest tonight, quarterback Josh Pell and his coach Royce Rodriguez. Next week we'll have the D-line. For our QA, Mitchell Padgett, and for my own personal Chris Collinsworth, Josh Willard. This is Brad Cohn signing off. You've been listening to Timberwolf Night in America here on the